I bet you're worried.
We were worried.
We were worried about vaginas.
We were worried about what we think about vaginas, and even more worried what we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there.
For starters, it's hard to even find your vagina. Some women go weeks, months, even years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman said that she was too busy. She didn't have the time. It's a full day's work, she said, looking at your vagina. You've got to get down on your back in front of a mirror, full length preferred. You've got to find the perfect position with the perfect lighting, which of course is then shadowed by the mirror, the position you're in. So you're all twisted up, you're arching your head up, killing your back. It's a full day's work. She said she was too busy. She didn't have the time.
So there were vagina interviews, which then became Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Single women, lesbians, married women, old women, young women, Caucasian women, African American women, Asian American women, Native American women, Hispanic women, Jewish. Phew. Okay. At first, women were reluctant to talk. They were a little shy. But once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one's ever asked them before.
Let's just start with the word, vagina. It sounds like an infection at best, or maybe a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. 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 Vagina? It doesn't matter how many times you say it. It never sounds like a word you want to say. It's a completely ridiculous, unsexy word. If you try to use it during sex to sound politically correct. Darling, could you stroke my vagina? You kill the act right there.
We were worried about vaginas, what we call them and what we don't call them.
In Great Neck, they call it a pussycat. A woman there said that her mother told her, "Don't wear panties underneath your pajamas, dear. You need to air out your pussycat."
In Westchester, they called it a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat.
There's powder box, a poochie, a poopy,
peepee, pupulo, punani,
a pal, peace, toady, dee-dee,
nishi, dignity, monkey box, coochie, snorter, cooter, lab,
Gladys Siegelman, VA, wee-wee.
Horse spot, nappy dugout, mongo.
A mookie, a pajama, a fanny boo.
Mushmallow, a ghoulie, possible.
Tamale, tortilla, Connie.
A Mimi in Miami.
A Pukanash in Jacksonville.
A Schmendy in the Bronx.
Hoo-ha, Giny.
A black hole.
Love your whatnot, your money side, your secret little honey pot. Love your Mary Lou, your bad juju, your little man in a canoe. Your naughty bits, your peachy lips, that little thing between your hips. Love, love, love your vagina, that important place inside ya. Love, love, love your vagina. Love that special place inside. Love your thatchy snatch, your pleasure patch, your bouncing baby escape hatch. Love your little girl, your frilly whirl, your precious hidden oyster pearl. Your velvet locket, oddest pocket, your supersonic rocket socket. Love, love, love your vagina, that important place inside ya. Love, love, love your vagina. Love that special place inside. blossom canopy, woolen cuff, ginger tub, little kitten, mitten muff, lickety-split, whisker biscuit, downtown dining and entertainment districts. Love, love, love your vagina, that important place inside ya. Love, love, love your vagina, love that special place inside your tutu, my new, my moo, my mincy moo, lulu, my woo, my bella, woo, lulu, my tutu, my new, my mincy moo, lulu, my pingu, my bella, woo, love, love, love your vagina, that important place inside ya. Love, love, love your vagina, love that special place inside.
Some of the monologues are based on one woman's story. Some of the monologues are based on several women's stories surrounding the same theme. And a few times, a great idea became an outrageous one. This monologue is based on one woman's story, although the subject came up in every interview and was often fraught, the subject being constantly a part of ourselves and constantly trying to remove.
You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it was cluttered and dirty. He made me shave my vagina. It looked puffy and exposed. Like a little girl, this excited him. When he made love to me, my vagina felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub it and painful, like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There were screaming red bumps. I refused to shave it again. Then my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, my husband said he screwed around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist had this thick German accent and gasped between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me, "Why don't you want to please your husband?" I told her I thought it was weird. I felt little when my hair was gone down there, and I couldn't help talking in a baby voice, and the skin got irritated, and even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She told me marriage is a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would stop him from screwing around. I asked her if she's seen many cases like this before. She said that questions delusive process. I just needed to jump in. She was sure it was a good beginning. This time when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize. He clipped it a few times, and there was a little blood in the bathtub. He didn't even notice because he was so happy shaving me. Then later, when my husband was pressing against me, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me. My naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no fluff. Then I realized that hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower, the lawn around the house. You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions.
If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
My vagina would wear panties.
It would wear a sundress and a leather jacket.
My vagina would probably wear skinny jeans and a tank top.
It would wear a flannel.
My vagina would wear a blazer.
A tie-dye shirt.
A flowy skirt.
It would wear Ray-Bans.
It would wear a tube top.
Leather. It would wear a comfy cardigan.
It would wear a flower pin,
to look very pretty, and then lots of sparkles and glitter.
If it got dressed, it would wear jeans, t-shirt, and Birkenstocks.
My vagina would wear a pink sparkly tutu.
It would wear a crown. It would wear a unicorn horn.
It would wear Louis Vuittons.
It would wear a pink tutu and a red trench coat.
Probably Tory Burch.
My vagina would wear all black.
Feather boa.
It would wear red silk with lace at the bottom. Very sexy.
Heart-shaped sunglasses.
Well, on a hot day, I think my vagina would wear a sundress, maybe a nice scarf or something. On a cold day, a leather jacket, maybe some Uggs, I don't know, boots with the fur.
A poncho.
It would wear Kaylee's dress from Firefly, the pink poofy one, well, the layered cake dress.
It would probably wear lots of little hair bows and maybe like little bedazzled stuff.
It would wear nothing. Nothing. Probably nothing, because it doesn't have to.
Nothing. It's free spirit.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say?
It would not. It would be speechless.
And it would say, help, it's dark in here.
I'm hungry. It's kind of wet.
Let's go tanning.
I'm powerful and men fear me.
Give me some air. My vagina would say, please give me more air once in a while. Be safe. Hi, everybody!
Feed me more cookies.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Password, please.
When it rains, it pours. Fuck the patriarchy. My vagina would say, respect me. Business first.
It would ask old white men why they're so interested in me.
Play with me. Please don't penetrate me.
Use me more, please.
It would say, love more, love better, and love often. I wish thongs are never invented.
I'm fabulous.
It would say, I'm a vagina and I'm proud.
A group of women between the ages of 65 and 75 was interviewed. These interviews were the most poignant, possibly because the women had never been asked about their vaginas before. One woman who was 72 had never even seen her vagina. Sure, she washed herself in the bath or in the shower, but never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm. At 72, she went into therapy, as they do in New York, and with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was arthritic, but when she finally found her clitoris, she cried. This monologue is for her.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower, no. It's a cellar down there. It's very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there, trust me, you'd get sick. Suffocating, very nauseating, the smell of clamminess and the mildew and everything. It smells unbearable. Gets in your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. Well, never mind. No, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down there's for? We didn't do that kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus, okay. There was this boy, Andy Lefkoff. He was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall like me. And I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. Oh, I can't tell you this. I can't do this talk about down there. You just know it's there. Like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes. You can hear the pipes and things get caught there. Little animals and things. And it gets wet and sometimes people have to plug up the leaks, but otherwise the door stays closed. You forget about it. It's a part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. It has to be there though, because every house needs a cellar, otherwise the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, Andy Lefkoff, right. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch, that's what we called it in my day. We were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking that my legs were too long for this seat. I have long legs. And they were smushed up against the dashboard. And I was looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprisingly take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got excited. So excited, and well, there was a flood down there. I mean, I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded out of me, right through my panties, right onto the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee, and it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't really smell anything at all, but Andy said that it smelled like sour milk and that it was staining his car seat. I was a stinky, weird girl, he said. I wanted to explain that his kiss had caught me off guard and that I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe up the flood with my dress. Oh, it was a new yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with a flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word. And then when I got out and closed his car door, I closed the whole store, locked it, never opened it for business again. You know, I dated someone after that, but the idea of flooding just made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they were dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why he never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I. Burt and I, Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. It was some restaurant like the kind you see in Atlantic City, all big with chandeliers and stuff, and thousands of waiters with the vests. Burt would give me this orchid corsage, and I'd pin it on my blazer, and we'd laugh. We were always laughing, Burt and I. Laughing. And we'd eat shrimp cocktail, huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp, and we'd laugh more. We were very happy together. And then he'd look into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant, and just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from underneath the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There would be fish inside it in little boats. And the whole restaurant would fill with my flood. And Burt would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again, horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim past us in their tuxedos and evening gowns. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not once they took out just about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. The doctor thought he was being funny. He told me, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Yeah. But really, we found out it was cancer. You know, everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyway? Highly overrated. I've done other things. I love the dog shows. I sell antiques. You asked me what it would wear? What kind of question is that, what would it wear? It would wear a big sign, closed, due to flooding. And what would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. It stopped being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. It's closed up, under the house. It's down there. You happy? You made me talk. You got it out of me. You got an old lady to talk about it down there. You feel better now? Actually, you know, you're the first person I ever told about this. I feel a little better.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy.
I didn't always know this. I learned this in the Vagina Workshop. I learned this from a woman who ran the Vagina Workshop, a woman who believes in vagina, a woman who sees vagina, a woman who helps other women with their vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. In the first session, the woman who runs the Vagina Workshop, she asked us to draw a picture of our own unique, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what we thought of our own unique, beautiful vagina. One pregnant woman, she drew this big red mouth with coins spilling out. Another skinny one, she drew this big setting place with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a black dot with squiggly lines around it. And the squiggly lines, they were supposed to represent your basic things that got lost. And the black dot, that was supposed to represent a black hole in space. I always thought of my vagina as a anatomical vacuum. It would just randomly suck up all the random particles. I didn't think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I didn't, for instance, see it as something that was attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to grab hand mirrors, and then after careful examination, we were told to verbally report back what we saw. And I gotta tell you that up until that point, everything that I knew about my vagina, it was based on hearsay or examination. I had never really seen the thing. It just never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me in some abstract plane, and it just seemed reductive and awkward, looking at it like we were in the workshop on our shiny blue mat with our little hand mirrors. It reminded me of the way that the astronauts, they would look through the primitive telescopes. And I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you cut open a fish, and it's this whole bloody world inside there, and it's raw and red and fresh. And the thing that surprised me the most, was all the layers. Layers within layers, opening up to more layers. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it was my turn. I was speechless. I was what the women in the workshop called Vagina Wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat, my legs spread open, examining my vagina. I mean, it was better than the Grand Canyon. Gosh, it was ancient and full of grace, and it had innocence. Oh, and it had this innocence and freshness, like a proper English garden. And it was funny. Oh, it was very funny. It made me laugh. It could hide and seek. It could open and close. And then the woman in the workshop asked how many women had had an orgasm. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. Now, I didn't raise my hand, but I had had an orgasm. I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. I would wake up in splendor, and it happened a lot in water. It happened once in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happen on horses and on bicycles. They happen on treadmills at the gym. I didn't raise my hand because although I had had an orgasm, I thought it was just this mystical and magical thing. I mean, it had happened to me. I didn't want to intervene. I didn't feel like getting involved. It felt Hollywood. I felt like the surprise would be gone, the mystery. And the problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for a long time. I hadn't had a magical, mystical orgasm for 2 years. And that's why I was at the Vagina Workshop. And the moment that I arrived, the moment that I both dreaded and longed for, the woman who ran the workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors, and she wanted us to locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, with our hand mirrors, And we were told to look for our spots, look for our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started crying. And maybe it was the sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the enormous fantasy, the enormous life-consuming fantasy that someone was just gonna do this for me, that someone was going to lead my life, to give me reason, to give me an orgasm. And I could feel the panic coming and the simultaneous terror and the realization that I had avoided my orgasm. I had avoided my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumeristic because I was in fact terrified that I didn't have a clitoris. That I was one of those constitutionally incapable, one of those frigid, dead, shut down, apricot tasting, dry, bitter, oh my God. I lay there with my mirror looking for my spot, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about, all that was in my head, was that time when I was at the lake and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds, and how I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over the stone and the fish and the bottle caps and all the slimy stuff, but I could never find my ring. And the panic that spread through me because I thought that I would be punished. And the woman who ran the workshop saw my trembling and my sweating, and she came over, and I told her that it's gone. It's gone, my clitoris isn't there. And I shouldn't have worn it swimming, and the woman who ran the workshop laughed. She laughed. She said my clitoris was not something that I could lose. She said that it was me. It was the essence of me. She said that it was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. That I didn't have to find it, I had to be it. Be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. So I closed my eyes and I put my mirror down and I watched myself float above myself. And I watched myself as I re-enter. And I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. And it was very quiet, this re-entry. And I bounced and I landed and I landed and I bounced. And I came into my own muscles and my blood and my cells. And I slid into my vagina. And it was suddenly so easy and I fit. And then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. And there was a little quivering at first, but that urged me to stay. And then the quivering became a quake, and then an eruption, and the layers divided and subdivided, and the quaking broke into an ancient horizon of light and silence, which broke into a plane of music and colors and innocence. And I felt connection, calling connection, as I lay there thrashing, on my little blue mat.
My vagina is a shell, a tulip and a destiny. I am arriving as I am beginning to leave. My vagina, me.
The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body that is designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves, 8,000 nerves to be precise. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers that is found in any parts of both the male and female body, including the fingertips, the lips, and the tongue. And it is twice the number found in the penis. Who needs a handgun when you got a semi-automatic?
always dreamt about the day I'd meet my perfect man. That night I'd give myself and stay forever in his side. But 3 years in this city's given me a different plan. 'Cause every night of passion's just that night. I always dreamt about the day I'd meet my perfect man. That night I'd give myself and stay forever in his side. But 3 years in this city's given me a different plan. 'Cause every night of passion's just that night.
Please hold for technical difficulties.
I always dreamt about the day I'd meet my perfect man. That night I'd give myself and stay forever in his side. But 3 years in this city's given me a different plan. 'Cause every night of passion's just that night. Nothing wrong with getting some quick satisfaction, but love's more than a muscular contraction. My vagina's not the highway to my heart. Yes, it's got a lovely view, but you got a little more shopping to do. Sex isn't one-stop shopping at Walmart. Make your impulse buy today, but love's a layaway more than a layaway. Mama always said I'll have to wait a while for bliss, but I'm a girl who's on a schedule, and I just can't fast track this. So drop the topic, we'll take a spin, but we may end where we start. My vagina, my vagina, my vagina's not the highway to my heart. Now boys have said one rub will be a universal fix, and I'm sure it is for them until the urge comes back and hasn't. But all our problems still are there, even once we get our kicks. And forever's more than just a night's orgasm. Sure, we've reached our full frontal frontier, but boy, you can't always get there from here. My vagina's not the highway to my heart. Yes, it's quite the scenic route, but I load the rig and get on out. Sex isn't just that one replacement part, like a new air intake tube or an oil change at the Jiffy Lube. This old girl has been a depot for attempts at Mr. Right. And if you want to sleep over, that's okay for tonight. But your dick is not a race car, no, it's more of a go-kart. My vagina, my vagina, my vagina's not the highway to my heart. Everybody! My vagina, my vagina, my vagina's not the highway to my heart. Just the guys. My vagina, woo! My vagina, my vagina's not the highway to my heart. Good job, guys. My vagina's not the highway to my heart.
This next monologue is based on a woman who had a good experience with a man.
This is how I became to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have been in a bathtub with sea salts from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, and me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of patriarchal culture. Pussies unite. I know all of it. Like, if we've grown up in a culture where fat thighs were beautiful, we'd be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kreme and doing thigh expanding exercises for hours. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I thought that anyone who had to go down there, it sucked for them. I mean, I wish I didn't have one. I became so accustomed to not thinking that I had a vagina that I imagined that there was comfy cushions or comforters or leopard rugs or pretty things like place settings or handkerchiefs or quilted pot holders or even place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him in a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I have ever met. He was thin and tall and wore khaki clothing. Bob did not like spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. He did not share his inner feelings. He didn't have any problems or issues and was not even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable, wasn't self-involved or charismatic, and he didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if I hadn't dropped my change on the floor and he picked it up for me. When he handed me my quarters and pennies and his hand touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the magic occurred. Turned out Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they smelled, the way they tasted. But most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He said he had to look at them, to feel them. The first time we had sex, he had to see me. I'm right here, I said. No, you. I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light, and then he looked at me and said, okay, I am ready to see you. Right here, I waved. I'm right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I said. I need to see you, he replied. No need, just do it. I need to see what you look like, he said. But you've seen a red leather couch before, right? I said. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. I was just like, this is awfully intimate, don't you think? And he continued to stare at me. I need to see you, he said. So I held my breath and let him look. And he looked, and he looked, and looked. And then suddenly, his face turned red, and he started to get breathy, and his entire facial expression changed. He became this beast, this monster. And that's when I saw Bob. He looked at me and he said, "You are so beautiful. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild." You saw all that there? I saw that, and I saw much, much more.
He stayed looking for an hour as if he was studying a map or observing the moon, staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself, and I was there with him in my vagina, and we were gone.
Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 120 million girls and young women. In the 28 countries where it's still practiced, mostly in Africa, about 3 million girls a year can expect the knife or the razor or a shard of glass to cut their clitoris or remove it entirely. In a man, this would equate to amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term side effects include tetanus, hemorrhaging, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal walls. Long-term effects include chronic uterine infections, increased pain during childbirth, and early death.
My vagina's angry. It is. It's pissed off. My vagina's furious and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking up ways to torture my poor ass, gentle loving vagina. Spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers.
All this shit they're constantly trying to shove up us, clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off and it's staying right here. Like tampons. What the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton stuffed up there. As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says, forget it. You need to work with the vagina. Introduce it to things. Prepare the way. That's what foreplay's about. You gotta convince my vagina. Seduce my vagina. Engage in my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton.
Stop shoving things up me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't try to decorate. Don't believe him when he tells you it smells like rose petals, when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're doing, trying to clean it up, make it smell like bathroom spray or a garden. All those douche sprays, floral, rain, berry. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain, all cleaned up, like washing a fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish, that's why I ordered it.
Then there's those exams. Who thought them up? There has got to be a better way to do those exams. Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches when you lie down so you feel like a wad of paper someone threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight up in there like Nancy Drew, working against gravity? Why the Nazi steel strips? The mean, cold duck lips they shove inside you? What's that? My vagina's angry about those visits. It gets defended weeks in advance.
It won't even go out of the house. Then you get there. Don't you love that? Scoot down, relax the vagina. Why? So you can shove mean cold duck lips inside there? I don't think so. Why can't they find some nice, delicious purple velvet and wrap it around me? Lay me down on some feathery cotton spread. Put on some nice pink or blue gloves and rest my feet in some fur-covered stirrups. Warm up the duck lips. Work with my vagina!
But no. More tortures. Dry wad of fucking cotton, cold duck lips, and thong underwear. That's the worst. Thong underwear? Who thought that up? Moves around all the time, gets stuck in the back of your crusty butt. Vagina's supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girls are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that, something to give them pleasure. No, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. No, I mean, make a nice pair of cotton underwear with the French tickler built in. Women will be coming all day long, coming in the supermarket, coming in the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it, seeing all those energized, not talking shit, hot, happy vaginas.
If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would even do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. No clothing, just there draped in diamonds. My vagina helped release a giant baby. It thought it would be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel. It doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things and get out more. It wants sex.
It loves sex.
It wants to go deeper.
It's hungry for depth.
It wants kindness.
It wants change.
It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch.
It wants chocolate.
It wants to scream.
It wants to stop being angry.
It wants to come.
It wants to want.
It wants.
My vagina?
Well,
it wants everything.
From 1991 to 2001, Serbian soldiers established rape camps as a systematic method of torture for Bosnian women throughout the Yugoslavian war. Between 20,000 to 70,000 women were captured and often raped in public as a tactic of ethnic cleansing. This monologue is based on one woman's story. We do this tonight for that one woman and the extraordinary women of Bosnia and Kosovo.
My vagina was green. Water, soft pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching lightly with a soft piece of blonde straw.
There's something between my legs. I do not know what it is. I do not know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since.
My vagina was chatty. Can't wait. So much saying. Words talking. Can't quit trying. Can't quit saying, oh yes. Oh yes.
Not since I dream there's a dead animal sewn in down there with thick black fishing line. And the dead animal smell cannot be removed. And its throat is slit and it bleeds and bleeds through all my summer dresses.
My vagina singing, all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs.
Vagina songs, vagina home songs.
Not since the soldiers put a long, thick rifle inside me. So cold. The steel rod canceling my heart. Don't know whether they're gonna fire it, shove it up through my spinning brain. 6 of them. Monsters, doctors with black masks, shoving bottles at me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom.
My vagina swimming, river water, clean spilling water, over sun-baked stones, over stone-cold clit stones over and over.
Not since I heard the skin tear and make lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off into my hand, a part of the lip. Now one side of the lip's completely gone.
My vagina, a live, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown.
Not since they took turns for 7 days, smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died with the fish.
My vagina, a live, wet water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down.
I do not touch now. Do not visit. I live someplace else now. I don't know where that is.
In hundreds of interviews with homeless women over the course of 13 years, only one woman was not sexually abused as a little girl or raped as a young woman. For most of these women, home is a very scary place, a place that they have fled. The shelters are, ironically, the first place many of them ever find safety, protection, or comfort.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie snooter. I became terrified. I thought I scratched it all off down there. I do not touch myself again, not even in the bath. I'm afraid of the water getting inside and filling me up to where I explode. I put Band-Aids over my coochie to cover the holes, but they all fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug up there to prevent things from entering me. I sleep with 3 happy heart pattern underpinnings underneath my snapped up pajamas. I want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Monty, who is 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might in between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home. I can't pee. Mama asks me, what's wrong with my coochie snooter? And when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she gets angry at me and says, never to let anyone touch you like that again. I try to explain, he didn't touch me, Mama, he pushed me. Memory, 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling and bouncing, and I impaled. held my coochie stood on the bedpost. I get taken to the hospital where they sew it up from where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house. He's having a party upstairs. Everyone's drinking. And I'm alone in the basement trying on my new bright brown underpanties that my father's girlfriend gave me. Until suddenly, my father's best friend, a big man named Alfred, comes up behind him, pulls my underpanties down, and sticks his big hard penis into my coochie snooter. I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, but it's too late. He already gets inside. Then my father's there with a gun, and there's this loud noise, and then there's blood. Blood all over Alfred and me. Alfred's paralyzed for life, and my mother doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My coochie snooter is a very bad place. It's a place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, and blood. It's a bad luck zone. It's a site for mishaps. I imagine a freeway in between my legs, and I'm traveling, going far, far away from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in our neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day, she invites me into her car. She asks me if I like to kiss boys. And I say, I do not like to do that. Then she says she wants to show me something. And she leans over and kisses me so softly on the lips, with her lips. And then puts her tongue in my mouth. Wow. She asked me if I want to come over to her house. And then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asked my mama if I could spend the night. My mother's so delighted that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm scared, but I can't wait. Her apartment's fantastic. She got it hooked up. It's the 70s, the bees, the fluffy pillows, the mood lamps. I decided right there, I want to be a secretary like her when I grow up. She makes a vodka for herself, and she asked me what I want to drink. I said the same as she drinking. And she said she doesn't think my mother would like me drinking vodka. And I say, she probably won't like me kissing girls either. And the pretty lady made me a drink. Then she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I always thought bulldaggers were ugly. I say, you look great. And she say, so do you. And I say, only have on this white cotton bra and underpanties. Then she dresses me so slowly in another satin teddy. It's lavender, like the first soft days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head, and I'm loose and ready. There's a picture over her bed of a naked black woman with a huge afro. She gently and slowly lays me on the bed, and just our bodies made me come. Then she does everything to me and my coochie snooter that I always thought was nasty before. And wow, I'm so hot, so wild. She says, your vagina, untouched by man, smells so nice, so fresh. Wish I could keep it like that forever. I get crazy, wild, and then the phone rings, and of course, it's my mother. She catches me at everything, I'm sure she knows. I'm breathing so heavy, and I'm trying to act normal. I get on the phone, and she asks me, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? No, mama, exercising. Then she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure that there's no boys around. And the secretary says, trust me, there's no men around here. Afterwards, this gorgeous lady teaches me everything about my coochie snooter. She makes me play with myself in front of her, and she teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She tells me to always know how to give myself pleasure, so I will never have to rely on a man. In the morning, I'm worried I'll become a butch or something, because I'm so in love with her. She laughs. But I never see her again. I realized later she was my surprisingly, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snooter and raised it into a kind of a heaven.
Vandalism of my vagina. Persecution of my pussy. Control of my clit. It is time we reclaim what is rightfully ours.
I call it cunt. I've reclaimed it, cunt. I really like it. Cunt. Listen to it. Cunt. Cackle. Cavern clit. Cute come closed. Closed inside. Then curvy. Inviting sharkskin uniform. Under up urge. Then in, then con. Snug letters fitting perfectly together. N. Nest, now, nexus, nice, always depth, always round in uppercase, con, N. A jagged, wicked, electrical pulse, N. Then soft N, warm in, con, then T. Then sharp, certain tangy T. Texture, take, tent, tight, tantalizing, tensing, taste, tendrils, time, tactile. Tell me, cunt, tell me, say it, cunt.
A 6-year-old girl was asked, if your vagina got dressed, what would it wear? Red high tops and a Mets cap worn backwards. vagina could speak, what would it say? Words that begin with V and T. Violin and turtle are examples. What does your vagina remind you of? A pretty dark peach. Or diamond I found in a treasure, and it's mine. What's special about your vagina? Somewhere really, really deep inside, there's a smart brain. What does it smell like? Snowflakes.
Sex workers have rich, compelling, complex relationships with their vaginas.
I love women. And I love vaginas. I don't see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this, no, to the contrary. I started out as a lawyer. But in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It began as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved. I got very good at it, kind of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women, lace and silk and leather, and I used props, whips, handcuffs, rope, dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. There were no props, no excitement, and I hated wearing those blue corporate suits. Although I wear them now from time to time in my new line of work, and they serve quite nicely. There are no props in corporate law. No wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no erect nipples, no delicious mouths. But mainly, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyways. And this was the key now, I see. Moaning was the thing that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, I would see women in movies making love, make strange orgasmic moaning noises, and I used to laugh. In fact, I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that these big, outrageous, ungoverned sounds like this came out of women. So I longed to moan. I practiced in front of my mirror, on a tape recorder, moaning in various keys, various tones. But always when I played it back, it sounded fake. Because it was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, just in my desire to be sexual. Then when I was 10, I had to pee really badly once on a car trip. It went on for almost an hour, and when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, it was so exciting. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it, me moaning in a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. I realized right then that moans are connected with not getting what you want right away, with putting things off. I realized moans were best when they caught you by surprise. They came out of that hidden, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans were, in fact, that language. So I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud, and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus, and then they'd lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in my building, and people stared at me with contempt in the elevator. Men thought I was too intense. Some people called me insane. So I began to feel bad about moaning. I got quiet and polite. I made noise into a pillow. I learned to choke my moan, hold it back like a sneeze. I began to get headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming hopeless when I discovered women. I discovered that most women loved my moaning. But more importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moaned, when I was responsible for other women moaning. I made love to quiet women, and I found this place inside them, and they shocked themselves in their moaning. I made love to moaners, and they found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was a kind of science, a kind of delicate surgery, finding the tempo, the exact location or home of the moan. That's what I called it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it, off the record, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I used force, but not violent, oppressing force, more like dominating. I'm gonna take you someplace. Don't worry, lay back and enjoy the ride kind of force. Sometimes it was simply mundane. I found the moan before things even started, while we were just eating salad or chicken, just casual right there with my fingers. Here it is, like that kind of moan. All mixed in with the balsamic vinegar. And sometimes I used props. Oh, I loved props. Sometimes I made the woman find her own moan in front of me. I waited, stuck it out until she opened herself. I wasn't fooled by the minor, more obvious moans. No, I pushed her further, all the way into her power moan. There's the clit moan. The vaginal moan. The almost moan. The right on it moan. The elegant moan. The grace slick moan. The wasp moan. The Jewish moan. No. The African American moan. Oh shit! The Irish Catholic moan. Forgive me. The mountaintop moan. The baby moan. The doggy moan. The uninhibited, militant bisexual moan. The machine gun moan. The tortured Zen moan. The college moan. This twin bed is too small. It's too small. And finally, the surprise triple orgasm moan.
Ripped flesh, a gaping hole, a river of blood and screams.
And that, folks, is the miracle of childbirth.
I was there when her vagina opened. We were all there, her mother, her husband, and I, and the nurse from the Ukraine with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning with her rubber glove as she talked casually to us, like she was turning on a loaded faucet. I was there in the room when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak out of her pores, and still there after hours when she just screamed suddenly wild, her arms striking at the electric air. I was there when her vagina changed from a shy, sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny child stuck inside, waiting to be rescued. I saw the colors of her vagina. They changed. Saw the bruised, broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray pink, the dark. Saw the blood, like perspiration along the edges. Saw the yellow-white liquid, the shit, the clots pushing out, all the holes pushing harder and harder. Saw through the hole, the baby's head, the scratches of black hair. Saw just there, behind the bone, a hard, round memory. As the nurse from the Ukraine kept turning and turning her slippery hand. I was there when each of us, her mother and I, held a leg and spread her wide, pushing with all our strength against her, pushing and her husband sternly counting 1, 2, 3, and telling her to focus harder. We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of that place. We forget the vagina, all of us. What else would explain our lack of awe, our lack of reverence? I was there when the doctor reached in with Alice in Wonderland spoons, and there as her vagina became a wide operatic mouth, singing with all its strength. First, the little head, then the gray flopping arm, then the fast swimming body swimming quickly into our weeping arms. I was there, and I turned and faced her vagina. I stood and let myself see it all spread, all swollen, completely exposed, mutilated, and torn, bleeding all over the doctor's hands, who was calmly sewing her there. I stood there, and her vagina suddenly became a wide, red, pulsing heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change to let us in. It can expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us and stretch for us, die for us and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. I was there in the room.
I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room. I was there in the room.
I remember